Okay, how's everybody doing today? I found some videos that actually can explain some things that I think are very, very important to the freestyle and the backstroke flip turns. So we're going to be hopefully sharing my screen, and you can listen to Gary Hall is going to talk about the approach and the phases of the freestyle flip turn. Does anybody know who Gary Hall is? If you watched the movie on Saturday, you should have an answer for this. If you have an answer, raise your hand. What was special about Gary Hall from the movie? I'll let you know. All right, since I don't see any hands. Oh, Glenn. Glenn, what is special about Gary Hall?
He carried the flag
He carried the flag. He was
in the opening ceremonies of the '76 Olympics and the only swimmer to ever be chosen to do so.
That is correct. So you're actually going to hear from him. He was in the 1972 Olympics and the 1976 Olympics, and his son was actually a gold medal winner as well. So we're going to listen to him real quick. Hopefully I won't mess this up. I'm going to share my screen. What the heck is this? Desktop? Is that how I press it? Let me see. Is it sharing my screen here? Can anyone see if it's sharing my screen?
It is not sharing your screen yet.
Okay, why is this not happening? It's having. Give me a second here. You learn everything new on Zoom. Okay. Why will it not let me do this? Share. Give me 1 second. Okay.
It says share screen button and select the screen you want to share. You can also choose an individual application that is already open on your computer or the desktop.
Okay, hold on.
Click share screen.
I'm trying, hon. Okay.
I thought you were looking for some help.
I know. Okay, here we go. Google Chrome. Can you see my? Is it sharing yet? Is it working? Yes, finally. Okay, here we go. So we're going to talk about. We're going to start off with Gary Hall here first off. So let's everybody watch and listen to him.
There are 4 important parts to the freestyle flip turn: the approach to the wall, the flip itself, the push off the wall, and the breakout. The biggest problem we see in swimmers that approach their freestyle flip turn is that they decelerate instead of accelerate into the wall. And why do they decelerate? They decelerate usually for 2 reasons. One is that they're gliding too long, and as soon as you stop swimming and start gliding, you're slowing down. And the second reason is they lift their head going up into the wall, looking usually at the T on the end of the wall to try to judge the turn. And although that may help them judge the turn, it slows them tremendously when they lift their head up, creating a huge drag problem. So we try to teach the swimmer to accelerate into the wall with their head down, and that helps to bring the feet over easier and makes the turn go much faster. How do we practice that? Well, we first start by having the swimmer swim with their head down out to the middle of the pool where there's no wall and learn to turn with the head down without looking up. And then we practice doing the same thing coming in, but instead of using the T on the end of the pool, we have them use the T on the bottom of the pool. And if you practice long enough, your brain will learn to know exactly where that wall is at whatever speed you're swimming as you pass over the T on the end of the wall. But you have to practice over and over, not looking up.
Okay, so there was Gary Hall talking about the approach, and a couple things that we can really think about there. Let's see if I can stop my share here for a second. One of the things we want to think about is on the approach, what are a couple things that he talked about that are important? And one things that we talk to you about is a lot as well. When you're coming into the Joey, you can unmute yourself when I call you.
When you don't want to lift your head when you're coming to the wall.
Don't want to lift your head, okay? We talk about tucking that chin, tucking that body, getting into a tight ball and spinning quick. And we're going to talk about the actual flip in a second here. But we want to, when we swim into the wall, whether it's freestyle or backstroke, we want to accelerate into the turn. We don't want to slow down. A lot of times we see people slow down into the wall. They glide a little bit and they're floating a little bit. And if you're floating, you're not going fast, okay? You're floating is slow, all right? If you watched one of Jeremy's race analysis, he talked about turn time, okay? The turn time is from when your last hand hits the water until your feet hit the wall, okay? So we want that to be somewhere about 1 second. So when your hand hits the water, you take the pole, flip the feet to the wall, that should be a second. That's what we're looking for. And some of you guys take 2 seconds, and that's an easy way where we can make up some time, all right? So we're gonna go on to the flip here for a little bit, and I'm gonna change this a little bit for you. Whoa, what's happening here? All right, so we'll look at the flip part of the freestyle turn.
On the flip turn itself, we usually see 3 different problems. The first problem is that the swimmer doesn't tuck their knees and their legs tight enough to their chest, so they make a big ball, and the big ball takes too long to get over the top. If you can make your ball tight, you're gonna
What happened here?
get your legs over much faster. The second problem we see is that swimmers tend to try to rotate as they're turning, so their feet will go angled one way or the other, when really you want to get them to the wall as fast as possible. And the fastest way to do that is to keep the feet square and have the toes pointed straight up when they hit the wall, going straight over the top. The way we practice how much core strength it takes to get those legs over the top
Skipping ahead a little
and
bit
into
there.
the wall. And if they lift their head up, they also underwater realize it takes more strength than if they keep their head down. The third problem we encounter is that when the person flips their turn and they pull back with their arms underwater, they continue pulling until their arms are in this position. Now their feet are on the wall and they're in this position. What are they going to do? They're either going to wait and get into a streamlined position, or they're going to push off the wall and get into that position as they're moving. And either way, they lose. So what do? We teach that by having them pull back with a straight arm, not bending the elbow, holding the hands close together, as far away from their head as possible, and have them freeze when they hit the wall. If their arms are in that position, then they're good. If they're here, they're not. So from this point, once they hit the wall, it's very easy to get into a very streamlined position very quickly. That will save them a tenth or two on every turn.
Okay, so we had a little bit of a discussion about, hold on here. Hold on. Can everybody hear me here? Hold on. Close this up real quick. All right, hold on. Let's see. Can you see me? Hold on. My computer is literally.
Yes, we could see you, Mike. We can see you.
You can't see the screen?
No, we see the screen with everybody on it.
Okay. I'm trying to get back to that screen, but it won't let me. I apologize. Technology. Where's my?
I'm a junior, and I'm going to teach you how to do a start.
Hi. Ben, could you come here real quick?
Is there a little green tab at the top of the screen?
There is nothing at the top of the screen. I can't get back to you guys, and I can't get back to my next screen. Do you have any idea how to get out of this? I'm frozen on this screen, and I'm in my Zoom meeting, and I can't get to it. I am not. Hold on. I apologize for this.
Mike, when you put your mouse to the top, do you see the green bar pop up?
It won't do anything up there. I go to the top and it won't do anything. I'm trying to escape and it won't. I'm trying to.
The X.
I've been hitting the X.
You can
I see a screen that I can. I'm trying to get out of here and it won't let me do anything.
Hold on.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Okay, I can see everybody again. All right, excellent. So there's a couple of things that we want to come from the flip. Number one, we want to flip straight over. Number two, we want to make sure that we're not twisting, okay? And we want to make sure that, number three, we don't want our hands kind of all over the place when we get the flip in there. That's for freestyle and for backstroke, all right? Now, we're going to be working on backstroke the rest of this week. So we're going to look at some of the backstroke people from a specific person. Her name is Mina Atherton. She's an Australian backstroker. She's one of their best backstrokers. Her best time in long course is 58.8, which is pretty good for a long course on her backstroke. But this past year, she at an ISL, one of those International Swimming League championships, she broke the world record in the 100-meter backstroke. And she went 54 seconds, which nobody's ever been under 55, and she went under 54. And one of the reasons I feel she went so fast is looking at her turns. And if we look at her turns, we want to take, hold on here, make sure I get to share some screen here. And desktop. Let me get this first off. When we look at her turn, share. Okay, she's in the circle up here. Can everybody see that? Yes? Okay, good. She's going to go into the turn, and if you watch closely, when she goes over from the flags on her last pull into the wall, she goes over right here. That was her last pull, and there was no hesitation whatsoever. She just goes right into it. Let's watch that again. As she goes over at the flag, at her last pull into the wall, right here, no hesitation whatsoever, okay? Now, let's talk about the backstroke approach. When you come into the flags, you want to make sure that get your stroke count down first, correct? And then we want to make sure that we don't glide into that wall at all. We want to make sure we accelerate into that wall, all right? And she does that really, really well. We're going to take a look at a different view of her turn at the other end. And if you watch now, let me see, is this the right one? Nope, this is the wrong one, but we'll look at it. That's her again. Going into that turn, nice and strong, really quick coming off. Okay.
Mike, I think we lost your screen. There we go.
Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. All right, so she's in the circle down here, okay? And I want you, so you know what lane she's looking at. I want you to notice a couple things about this turn from the overhead, which I think are really, really important, okay? So here she comes in. Well, sorry, I went to the wrong one. I jumped ahead. This is following up on Todd's talk a couple weeks ago when we talked about underwater dolphin kicks. And I'll come back to this real quick because that's not the one I wanted. Hold on. Here we go. This is the one I want. She's in the square. This square here is actually blown up over here. All right. So when we watch her coming in, look where she is at in regards to the lane. She's not on the side. She's straight down the center. And one thing that I think is really important is when she comes over and she pushes off, she's right on the center of that lane. Okay. Now, we talk about coming off the wall right. Look at the streamline that she's in. Okay. She goes straight over. There's no pause. Tight streamline off the wall. And she goes right into her dolphin kicks. Okay. And she's down there for a while. All right. And it's so important that if we watch this one more time over the top, I think it's important to watch this. When she's, and this is slowed down. But as soon, if we were to time her, I mean, I don't have a watch on me, but I guarantee you that's a sub-second turn, because her hand, when her hand hits from right here to her feet touching, that's pretty fast. Accelerates, she gets in that nice tight ball. Now we'll go to the last one that I tried showing. Oops, I did that wrong. Technology. All right, here's the one that I hold on here. Share the screen real quick. Here we're going to look at her underwater coming off that last turn. Okay. And I want you to watch her dolphins. Okay. Had to talk about this a couple weeks ago. Tight body, streamline. Really snappy kicks, really good dolphin kick, getting past 7 meters, and then that's 15-meter line right there. So she gets 2 full cycles and at the 15-meter mark. Let's watch that again. The solid plant of her feet. Okay. Oops. Let me start. Her feet plant, pushes down at a little angle, and really starts cranking on those underwater dolphin kicks. Okay. So I'll stop that again. Those are that I think she probably has some of the cleanest turns I've seen in a long time. And whether it's off a freestyle turn or a backstroke turn, she shows some of those important factors that we have to use. She accelerates into the wall. She doesn't slow down at all. She gets those feet over the wall to the wall quickly, straight over the top. She's staying in the center of her lane, so she's not doing a circle swim or like we do at practice sometimes. We want to make sure we're in and out of that wall straight. A really good push off the wall, super tight streamline, and then a great dolphin kick. And then the last part of it is her breakout. Her breakout is fantastic. I mean, there is no, we can go back and look at that again. I didn't point that out, but we can look and see if we can do that again. If you watch her breakout, she's got that nice straight body line there. She just pops right forward. She's going straight ahead. You know, that little line through the body there. And she never stops kicking. She goes from a dolphin kick right into that pull. And then as soon as her hand, if you can see there, pushing forward, body going straight forward, not up into the air, going forward. Okay, excellent technique there for her. So does anybody have any questions about the freestyle or the backstroke turn, specific more towards the backstroke?
Coach Mike, this is Todd. I wonder if you could, one of the things I noticed on the video that maybe in my computer froze for a moment, so maybe you could go back and show it again. On the third video that you showed, when she's coming off the wall and you were highlighting her dolphin kicks, maybe you talk about why the angle that she's coming off the wall in. She's not pushing herself straight out, actually pushing herself down slightly. Yep. Maybe you want to point that out and explain why she's doing that for some of our younger swimmers.
Yep, I'm happy to do that. All right, so here we go. She's in the middle of her flip. Hold on. Gets her feet on the wall right there. And as you can tell, she's got those hands already together, streamlining. And as she pushes down, if this angle right here, if you see that, she's angled down. Natalie Coughlin, who was one of the better backstroke dolphin kickers off the wall. They call them check marks, okay? A check mark turn. And hold on a second, I'll try to show you. Can you still see me on the side? Yes?
We can. Yes, we can.
So like if this is the wall here, okay, if that's the wall there, she would go down first and then up. So it kind of was a check mark. So it went down and then up. And if you notice, and this is one of the reasons why some people wear nose plugs, not to necessarily keep the water from your nose, but let's let it run through a little bit. Okay, she's still angled down. You don't see any bubbles coming out of her mouth. You see that? Now she's starting to come up. When your lungs are full of air, it makes you more buoyant. It makes you want to rise up. So if you push down to begin with on that turn and you hold your breath and there's no bubble trickle or anything like that, you can see there's clean water. The natural buoyancy of your lungs and that all that air in your lungs is going to help pull you up. So while you're kicking this way, you're actually thinking about kicking straight forward. You're not still kicking down. The buoyancy of your lungs is going to raise you up, because some people, they push off and they want to get up to the surface, and so they angle up. We don't want to angle up. If you keep your lungs nice and full, it's going to pull you up. All right. And there she goes with that last blast of air when she's getting ready to take in that air there. Okay. But as we tell some of our older kids, that's not something you just get to do when it's a swim meet because you saw her do it right. Okay. That is something that you want to make sure, let's watch again, that you train it. You can't just go in and say, I'm going to do this. You have to train this, because your lungs right now are saying, hey, I'd like to get rid of this air and put some fresh air in and breathe because it'd be beautiful. Okay. Great break. Great push through on that stroke. Okay. Did that run better that time? Todd?
Yes.
Okay. Technology. All right. So we want to make sure we go through a couple of the things that we were talking about. First part of the turn is what? The approach. Do we want to slow down, or do we want to hold your speed or speed up? Anyone? Who wants to slow down? You want to slow down, Sadie? That's bad. Who wants to speed up? Okay, so we want to go fast into that turn. I'm going to ask another question. What's that?
Coach Mike, can I ask you to clarify one more thing that you said, maybe for some of the younger swimmers?
Sure.
When you were talking about the approach into that turn, you're talking about how she hit that turn perfectly and she didn't slow down. Maybe you could talk a little bit about, a lot of swimmers when they're doing backstroke, they'll take that last stroke, that freestyle pull, and then they'll tuck their chin and begin the turn. Maybe you want to talk about the timing of that stroke and the head movement so they understand what would stop them from slowing down.
Right. Okay, so if you know what your stroke count is, and everybody gets taught their stroke count on backstroke when they're like 8 and unders, when you're in bronze or incredibles, we teach you that right away. When you know your stroke count, when you are going over, because a pool is just like any other pool. If it's a yard pool, the flags are always 5 yards apart, and they're supposed to be 8 feet above the water. So that should be the same no matter what the pool is. So if you take 3 strokes and then flip at one pool, you should be 3 strokes and one flip at the other pool. All right. If there are things that can cause this to slow you down, is if you slow down into your turn and you're slowing down and you take that pull, you got to look for the wall, make sure it's still there. If you're not confident in your turns, you're going to slow down. We want to make sure that we are always being aggressive there. And that starts with knowing your count. Okay. If you watch her, she knows her count. She goes straight over. She's not looking for the wall because she knows the wall is there and she's ready to go. All right. So we want to make sure that the stroke count is right. The same as they said, also for the freestyle turns, instead of flags, you have the cross on the wall and the cross at the bottom of the pool. That's how you help judge when you start going into the flip. Once you start that flip, it's accelerating and all the way, tuck the chin down. A lot of people we see, they go in there and they keep their head up like this and they start their turn, and you can't spin very fast when your head's up. So we want to make sure we tuck that chin nice and tight and bring our heels up to our rear end really quick. Okay. Is that kind of what you wanted, Coach Todd?
100%. And with that, I know, one of the things that we talk to swimmers about helps increase that speed of getting their feet around is looking for their knees. When you take that last stroke and backstroke, it's really a freestyle stroke. Take that freestyle pull, get that chin down, and you look for your knees. If you put your eyes directly at your knees, you're going to get your feet around significantly faster.
I agree 100%. That's one of the things that you say, look for your knees. One of the things I tell my older swimmers is you want to try and kick your heels onto your butt. We call them kick butt turns because it spins you a little bit quicker. Okay. But that's all about the approach and not slowing down. If you slow down, then everything goes out the window. Okay. Are there any questions from anyone else other than Coach Todd? Okay, so for the rest of the week, we've got some more backstroke information coming to you. It's going to be pretty exciting. And then, we're going to have a little race analysis and a little history of backstroke coming up. But Joe's excited. But we're ready to have some more backstroke this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, raise them now because we only got about 7 more minutes left of my Zoom here. Got a lot of people on this call. I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to challenge you to make sure that you are part of all your Zoom meetings and all the Zoom meetings that we have, because there's some really great information coming up the rest of this week. Especially I'm excited for Thursday when we have a question and answer with Coach Walker. That's going to be pretty exciting. Does anybody know that Illinois Swimming does Zoom meetings? Yeah, because tomorrow we've got Ryan Held, and I think that's going to be pretty exciting as well if you can get onto that one. Okay. Everybody great? All right. Well, thank you for joining me on freestyle turns and backstroke turns. And I hope that this helps. And
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.